Okay, so here's a look at Parkview's discipline data from last year, the year 2013-14. You're going to see this was printed off on Monday, so you're going to see that the grade levels have already been rolled over. But this would be last year's kindergarten class, this would have been Parkview's first grade class, and then this was last year's second grade class at Parkview. So you can take a look at how the discipline referrals played out this last year. Our kindergarten students had 52 referrals that came through the office. Second grade had 44, and our first grade had 44, and last year's second graders had 85. This is a breakdown and a look at our data from several different points of view. So this is by grade level. Here is the breakdown of discipline referrals by month. So here's September all the way through June. You will notice that we've got 34 referrals that took place both in February and in March. I believe that was the result of our cold winter and a lot of inside recess and pent-up energy that came out in the form of our referrals for those 2 months. This next graph, we need to work on doing this better in terms of making sure the times that we are entering are accurate. The times don't line up. They start at 1 a.m. and then move on to 7:30 a.m. and then 12:30 a.m., etc. So I don't even know if I can give you good data based on this particular graph. So I'm going to skip down to locations of our offenses. You can see here are all the different locations where offenses were recorded or documented last year. Our highest numbers came out of the bus and came out of our playground. There were 46 referrals in the playground, and we had 43 referrals on the school bus. And we'll talk a little bit more about the school bus in just a little bit. And then finally, this was by the offense. So you can take a look again. Along the bottom are going to be all of the different types of offenses that were recorded last year and documented by our friends at Parkview. And then you can see that the number of each one of those in fighting came up with 62 referrals came from fighting, 30 of them from physical contact, and then we had 14 of them for inappropriate language along with the chronic minor behaviors. So that gives you kind of a peek at what discipline was like at Parkview just this last school year. As the core PBIS team, the team has decided that where we want to focus our energies this school year is on that shuttle bus, and if we can improve our behaviors that are taking place on the school bus. Another document that I can show you, and I will pull it up. It comes from an Excel document. But we can get specific on what that bus behavior looked like this last year. We removed the student names, but again last year these are color-coded. These are the students who had discipline referrals off the school bus last year. So we had 43 incidents that took place on our school bus by 25 different kids. So you can see by the difference in colors that you've got some individuals who were repeat offenders and other individuals that were one-hit wonders. They were involved in something one time and then did not have any other incidents after that. If we look by month, just as what our data had showed, and for the entire building for discipline, that March and February were busy months. February and March as well were our heaviest months for referrals that came off of the school bus. This particular document, when I organized so it starts with January and goes until February. So understand that right here with this yellow, this is last fall, and then it goes back up to the winter up here, and then finishes the school year at this red line. But 9 incidents off the bus in February and 12 incidents off the bus in March. And then by offense, there are a lot of different codes that we have within our coding system, and it's probably something we need to look at. But again, of the 43 incidents, disrespect, we had 2. For disruption, 2. Excessive mischief, and I'm very interested to learn a little bit more about what exactly that looks like, was 3. Fighting, again 17. Harassment and intimidation was 3. Use of profanity, and you can see the rest of them down there is the breakdown of how those offenses looked for our learners on the school bus last year. The other that I will show you is actually from the year before as well. Alright, so one of the things that we want you to accomplish as we are having our meeting today is to go ahead and actually meet with and focus on PBIS efforts at Parkview. So what I have here is a document that shows and lists who our core team is or who is on that team. We do have a parent rep this year. Mike Newmeyer has joined our team and joins us for our meetings, monthly meetings. There are 4 groups that kind of exist here at Parkview. One of them is our signage committee. That signage committee was, as it says, in charge of creating communication signs that would go in some of our public areas within the school, reminding students of what the Cardinal Way is for those particular areas. For example, in the bathrooms we would be looking to create creative signs that remind the learners while they are in there what the proper behaviors and expectations are for while you're in there. Same with while you're in the cafeteria, same with while you're in the hallways, and actually have signs that are printed up while you are on the buses that can be used throughout the building and displayed. Cool Tools would be the group that's in charge of kind of creating those lesson plans that anybody can grab and use. If there's a need for reteaching, if there's a need to introduce a new type of behavior that we want to make sure we're following while we're at Parkview. Recognitions are cool and creative ways that we can recognize our learners for continuing to follow the Cardinal Way, and then PR would be our public relations group, our individuals who are working to get what we do here at Parkview in regards to PBIS and following the Cardinal Way and reaching out into the community a little bit further. One of the things that we are hoping is that with these groups we are going to meet and be concentrated about our PBIS data and our work with PBIS on our 3rd Wednesdays each month. So our second building meeting of each month is going to actually entail a focus on PBIS. So this kind of gives you an overview of last year's data, where our learners are currently at, and then what our teams are. And if I've missed anyone, I apologize. I will get them added in. But this again gives you a kind of a layout for where we are planning on going and hoping to go this year with regards to what our data looked like last year and how we can possibly make some improvements. Again, our focus this year is indeed going to be on bus behavior.